What's up, Vinyl Community? I'm Robert Fithin, and today I want to talk about my favorite long songs that are 11 minutes or longer. And I got this idea from a video that Glen Kellaway from The Basement put up. He put up 10 of his favorite long songs. I've got 20 or so that I've narrowed it down to, so let's go ahead and get started so this video is not quite that long. Okay, The Doors, The End, of course, their classic long song that kicks off their debut. But I'm going to go ahead and do When the Music's Over. This is actually my favorite of the Doors super long songs. And this one clocks in right at 11 minutes long. My copy of this is an original, I think, and it has a really dark cover. This is actually more of a bright on the CD there. But yeah, When the Music's Over, excellent song. It's got this groove that goes through all the way. It kind of has a little bit of a freak out part, but not anything insane. It keeps the groove going. And I've just always loved the line about music is your only friend until the end. I know there's been definitely times in my life when I have felt like that. So starting things off with When the Music's Over, ironically, I guess a strange way to start things, from The Doors, 11 minutes long, one of my favorite 11-minute plus songs. Moving on to the Chambers Brothers, The Time Has Come today from their album The Time Has Come. This, man, I don't know, these guys fool me because they're not really a band that usually sounds like this song, but yeah, it's a psychedelic classic, and these guys are more of like a blues rock band. You can see what the guys look like a little better there, but yeah, the Chambers Brothers from 1968, I believe, and 11 minutes and 8 seconds, something like that. The Time Has Come today. What can you say? I mean, it's got that great normal, like the single version, like part where it's like the song, and then all the breakdowns, all the like reverb at the end, and the tape echo and stuff that you could you do really easily now, but back then it was I think they were just kind of playing around and seeing what happens. And for some reason they break into the Little Drummer Boy, like about 2/3 of the way through. So all of a sudden it's Christmas with the Chambers Brothers. But yeah, Time Has Come today. Always one of my favorites with that ticking clock and time, and it's a rousing song too. It's not kind of a laid back like 11-minute thing. This thing is pretty rocking. It's supposed to get you revved up for the revolution and all that. Now, before we go any further, I do want to say that there are some filters here. Otherwise, this video would end up being like 2 hours long or something, 3 hours long. So I did have to filter some things out. Okay, so only one song per artist. That's one rule. One song per artist on this video. To keep it kind of shorter, so that's why I picked, When the Music's Over and not the end. Okay, also no suites. No songs that have like, several, a title and then a bunch of Roman numerals and then a bunch of like Rush 2112 or those Yes songs or whatever, so we leave those off this list. Okay, also no live songs, no big long live jam, because then we'd be talking about all the Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers and all that kind of stuff. So we're leaving those off the list. It's got to be like a studio version. It's got to be a legit, like that's the song, not some extended remix or some rare outtake jam version or whatever. So just to keep things kind of concise, sticking to like legit songs, not live versions, no suites, and one song per artist, and no medleys. It's got to be just one title. It can't be like Funeral for a Friend / Love Lies Bleeding from Elton John or something like that. It's got to be just one title. That's another filter. So that's how I narrowed it down to 20. Okay, here we go. Pink Floyd, Animals is the album with all kinds of great long songs on there. Like Sheep is great, but I picked Pigs, 3 different ones. I have always loved not only the constant groove of that song, which is Pink Floyd, to me anyway, all their great long songs, like Echoes and all of them, with Pink Floyd, the earlier stuff, 70s stuff, I guess, 60s, 70s stuff, they don't seem long. They don't seem like they're going on as long as they are. But yeah, 11 minutes long, Pigs, 3 different ones, kind of a social commentary piece there on 3 different sections of society. And I've always loved the line, you're almost a good laugh. You're nearly a good laugh, almost worth a quick grin. I've actually said that in conversation because I love that line so much. There's the custom labels there. I've had this since like the late 80s. It was great to find out that I actually had a first pressing the whole time. But anyway, it's a U.S. first pressing because it doesn't matter. But Pigs, 3 different ones from Pink Floyd, 1108 or something like that. I actually played this when I was on a rock station and I was kind of more in control of what I was playing. and the this is when streaming first started, and the consultant, you know, if you know what that is, the radio consultant, heard it off in Texas or wherever he is, and called the general manager. Your program director is out of control, playing 11-minute long Pink Floyd songs in drive time. Until I played the general manager the tape back of all the phone calls that came in, going, "Wow, this is great. What is this song? I love this." So yeah, leave me alone, consultant. I think I know what I'm doing. Jimi Hendrix Experience. 1983, A Merman I Should Turn to Be from Electric Ladyland. Kind of a not really super popular Jimi Hendrix song, but, and that's kind of what makes it so great. One of the great things about it is it's kind of one it doesn't get worn out, you know, like a lot of the other ones getting played all the time. Because he's got, you know, with the Experience, there's so little to go with. I mean, you've got 3 albums and a couple of throwaway tracks on smash hits. And that's pretty much it for the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So you played them over and over and over again. But this one, I don't play as much, so it's great to return to 1983, A Merman I Should Turn to Be. Really mellow kind of song where it's just kind of like this kind of, you know, just kind of stretching out and just kind of, you know, this expansive kind of just sprawling, I guess, is kind of the word I'm looking for. And with the double album, he was allowed to do a little bit more of that than he was just having the... you know, the single album, like something awesome like Third Stone from the Sun or something, which is only like a little under 7 minutes long. But here's the CD. The interesting thing is some of the CDs, like this one, this is the one from like 93 that had that cover. This one mistracks it and actually splits the song in like 2 parts, and the Moon Turns the Tides Gently, Gently Away is like 7 minutes long. This song, it cuts it right in the middle of the song and makes it like 2 different songs. So I'm going with the track listing time. It says that 1983 is actually 13 minutes long. So, and on the album itself, it doesn't band any of the tracks. It's the whole side. It looks like just one big long track. So it's kind of hard to tell which. But I always thought that the Moon Turns Tides Away was just the kind of the wave kind of whooshing sound effects at the end there, and the actual 1983 song is 13 minutes long. Just another great reason to listen to music on vinyl records. You can see how long the songs are, like this classic track from War called Gypsy Man from their album Deliver the Word. You can see here how these first 2 tracks are much more modestly sized, and then the girth on this final one is much larger. So just another great benefit to listening to music on vinyl records. Not only can you hear how long it is, but you can see how thick it is. Grateful Dead, man, if we were talking about live jams, we'd be here all day talking about all the awesome ones from the Grateful Dead. They got a 45-minute version of Playing in the Band. They got all kinds of great long songs. They do have a studio one that's kind of studio, kind of not. It's basically 2 concerts like playing at the same time, whoosh together at different places. Pretty incredible stuff called Alligator from their second album, Anthem of the Sun. If you want way out Grateful Dead, like super psychedelic stuff, in my opinion, this is the album to go with the Grateful Dead. All kinds of great tracks on here. Caution is probably my favorite. There's all kinds of good stuff. It's way out though, very experimental, and like I said, 2 concerts at once. So it is kind of live, but it's obviously a lot of studio stuff going on as well in the song Alligator from the Grateful Dead's Anthem of the Sun. So yeah, I had to get some, oh, that's a palm tree, better put that away. Yeah, I don't want to lose my integrity there. Grateful Dead, Anthem of the Sun, definitely. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida from Iron Butterfly, you knew this had to be on the list. It's an entire side of the song. It was notorious when it was out. Everybody was making, you know, anytime there was a long song or it takes a long time to do something or whatever, it was always In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. I can do that, the time it takes to play In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, you know, whatever. Of course, the story of the song, it's originally called In the Garden of Eden and all of that. Folklore from Iron Butterfly, but yeah, it's a great groove. It still stands up after all this time. Yes, even the long 16-minute long version, which, by the way, I have an old CD of that, and yeah, you want to stay away from this early CD, especially. I don't know how later ones sound, but if there was ever an argument for checking something out on vinyl sonically over CD, this thing sounds very thin and very, I don't know, just very bad. Definitely vinyl pressing of this, and if you can get one of the early ones, way to go with that. But In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, Iron Butterfly, this thing goes for probably $5 because there's a million of these that were pressed. One of the only albums I can think of, I think I said this before in a video, where side 2 is much more known than side 1, because side 2 is basically just the song with that great drum track, great drum solo in there that sounds very similar to what the Beatles would do a year later on Abbey Road. But yeah, the organ riff, the whole thing, man, it's all part of the '60s psychedelic. You can't have that without your. And don't even try that 2.5 minute long thing. Sometimes that works, like The Doors' "Light My Fire." I can get into the single edit of that. Like Marvin Gaye, "Gotta Give It Up." That's an 11.5 minute long song I didn't include because I actually prefer the 4 minute single. I think that gets the job done and whatever. But you can't do no 2.5 minute long in a Gada de Vida. So, ja, wie geht es Ihnen in Deutschland? Willkommen zu den Teil, in den ich über die wunderbar deutsches Progressive Rock Music spreche from the late 60s and early 70s. Let's get it started with this one, actually. Can soundtrack, because this was my introduction to the German progressive rock movement, and love this still. Mother Sky, of course, the song I'm talking about. Now, this is actually a compilation of different stuff they've done on soundtracks, but this actually plays like a great album, similar to the Jefferson Airplane Early Flight I was talking about a couple of videos ago. Plays like a great album, does not sound like a compilation. I'm not into all the Can, you know, but this, the Mother Sky on here is absolutely delicious. That guitar riff that just keeps belting over and over again. At that time, I'd never heard anything like that before. Like I said, this was my introduction to the German progressive rock of the early 70s. And yeah, I'll never forget Mother Sky for that reason alone. But yeah, great album overall. A lot of good stuff on here. Like I said, a driving beat. It's not a lot of way trippy stuff on here. But they get a groove going on Mother Sky, and they don't give it up, man. They just keep it going. But yeah, this is a I can't forget the name of the label here, but Spoon Records reissue of this, pressed by Rainbow. Yeah, the fidelity on this is all right. It just sounds like it's been around the block a few times, a little scratchy, you know, whatever. Too bad I bought this brand new. Yeah, that's the problem. This is a brand new record, and the vinyl on this is very noisy. So I would not get the 2014 Spoon Records reissue of Can soundtracks. Best just to stick with the good old CDs here of a lot of the German stuff, like Guru Guru. You got to give it up for this great track here, Guru Guru from Kangaroo. And Ooga Booga is the song I'm talking about. There's a couple long tracks on here, but Ooga Booga is the great one because you got this German progressive band going in more of a rockabilly style, and then more of a like a boogie rock style, and then it finally breaks into like more of the what you'd expect kind of style. So you got a lot of fun on that song, and it is called Ooga Booga. So whenever you try to start thinking you might be a little pretentious with your, you know, German European rock music, then just remember there's a song by Guru Guru called Ooga Booga that I am recommending on. Well, if I had the vinyl, it would be side 2. If I had the vinyl too, you'd be able to see the incredible Brain logo. I love Brain Records, and why I have this on a CD, well, I've had this for years and years and years, but yeah, eventually someday I need to get the, but you know how expensive all those originals are and getting them from Germany and imported and all that, but yeah, good times with the Ooga Booga. If you're just looking for some fun, longer stuff, kind of a jammy thing that, you know, they did with the echoey stuff, like I said, rockabilly kind of tribute stuff, check that out. And gotta have Brainticket in there, and their album from 1972 called Cottonwood Hill. A lot of people used to confuse the band and the song name because there's also a song called Brainticket, and Brainticket Part 2 is the one I'm absolutely totally into from this release. Like I said, you got craziness going on in this song. You got high intensity. You got this woman named Dawn Muir absolutely freaking out. Like in the first 3 minutes of the song, she is just going on about, I don't know what, the waves of something have washed away all ideas, and the priests on Thursdays are doing this, and 4 lips and 12 women, why? What for? What for? And it's just this really intense thing. She's top of mind, just ranting on, it's too much. It's like Lydia Lunch and Patti Smith are like, calm down, you know. She is just very intense. And then about the time you've had enough, you're like, okay, we get it. Then she stops. It's incredible. That never happens. You know, somebody that just keeps rattling on, they won't stop. And then when you finally have had enough, then they stop. Yeah, that never happens, but it happens on this song, and then it just goes into this gritty, funky organ riff. You got all these cool things going on. It's just this funky, just down and dirty kind of psychedelic stuff, and it just goes on and on and on. And then she comes back, but now instead of being, well, her name is Dawn for real, but she was Peggy in the first part. Now she's back as somebody named Arthur, and she's talking to you this time about, here's what's going to happen, and yes, you will have sex, of course you will, and this, blah, 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 blah. You know, she's just total freak out, and I love this song. It is so intense. She's screaming, you are the source, aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't you? You gotta love Brainticket Part 2 is the longer one from Brainticket, the band, and they're from all over Europe. They're the lead guy, the main guy, Joel, is from I believe he was from Belgium. He passed away a couple of years ago. But yeah, Brainticket, Cottonwood Hill, great album all the way through. But you got to love the last part there, with especially with Dawn and her different personality freakouts there. Hawkwind and their second release. And yeah, it's, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I don't know what that translates to. Oh yeah, I do. It's basically Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. I had this CD, about a month before I figured that out. So yeah, I'm not really quick on the pickup sometimes, but yeah, love Hawkwind's second release. Love their first releases. Love a lot of Hawkwind. But the big long song here is Brainstorm. So we go from Brainticket to Brainstorm. By the way, this Brainticket reportedly originally banned in the United States because it was just way too intense. Anyway, back to Hawkwind. This is when Lemmy was still with them. This Brainstorm song is just a hard rockin' driving rhythm all the way through. Not the craziness of the Brainticket or the mellow weirdness or whatever. Just hard rockin' rhythm, swoosh guitars, panning, all the psychedelic, well, not all, but some of the psychedelic tropes are still in there. But you got Monster Magnet actually remaking this in the early 90s. But theirs is only 8 minutes long. What's up with that Monster Magnet? Not the Hawkwind, man. They've got it down. 1972, I believe, the year of release for Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. And that leads us to this one. Amman Duel 2, or Sphy, und Phallus Day. Now that doesn't mean day of the phallus, because it's day like Latin day. So instead of Phallus Day, this is the phallus of God is how that translates. So this better be good, and it is. Man, this is incredible. This is well endowed with everything you could want from like some psychedelic, multi-layered song. This has like the soundscape at the beginning. This has jungle rhythms going on halfway through. This has like crazy driving drum beats throughout it, as well as like in the third part. This has the crazy like chaotic stereo part where everything's just kind of crazy going on at the same time. This has a little bit of fuzz guitar in there. Like I said, just about everything you want is in the Phallus of God from Amman Duel Sphy. And yeah, wow, what a great track. If you're only going to check, well, I don't know, I would check out the Brainticket too, and check them all out. But yeah, yeah, how appropriate. Phallus Day. And yes, it is. Mine is only a 5-inch one. I feel so inadequate. I need to get the big 12-inch, obviously, if you're going to be the Phallus of God, come on now. But yeah, it is an intense song, and it's a great trippy thing, and it's got so many different things going on, and it really keeps it interesting, and definitely love that God's Phallus. As long as we're doing CDs, I might as well admit I don't have the vinyl version of this, but it's a great track from Bob Dylan. I had to get some Bob Dylan on here. A lot of people like the Sad Lady of the Lowlands, and I could have shown my vinyl of that and kept my integrity up, but no, I had to whip out the CD for Highway 61 Revisited and talk about Desolation Row, the final track on here, which is over 11 minutes long. It's not my favorite Bob Dylan song, but we are talking about long songs, so I figured I'd get some Dylan in there, and you know what the cover of that looks like, come on. But yeah, it's a great song, and I think it would have maybe been a really cool 3 songs, with all the different characters and everything going on. It does take a rhyming scheme and a melody and just keep doing it over and over and over. Now the lyrics keep changing, and it's Bob Dylan. This is some of his greatest lyrics, but it does get it's like, man, this would have made like a good 3 songs, but I'm over here like friggin' second guessing Bob Dylan now. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. There's a sticker on it. Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. This one has a little bit of atmosphere in it as well, like you're in an aviary or something. There's like birds flying around and, stuff. Not my idea of a pleasure dome, and I wouldn't think it was Frankie Goes to Hollywood's idea of a pleasure dome based on some of their videos, but that's what's going on here. I want to get some 80s stuff in here. Later stuff, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, definitely one of the only bands to have a long song like this. This is a kind of a crazy album anyway. It's not very unconventional. Most people just know their song Relax, which of course is on here. But it's got like little 1-minute like songs. It's obviously like this, got 13-minute long songs, and just a very unconventional sounding album for like what's basically a Euro pop dance group from the mid-'80s, but these guys were pretty progressive as well, in some respects anyway. But this song kind of sounds a little bit like their Two Tribes song, if you're more familiar with that. But yeah, the title track of Welcome to the Pleasure Dome ends with that big long, or that big deep welcome, which get used on radio for various things. But yeah, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, relax. Come on, that's what it's really all about. Let's talk about Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti. The song is In My Time of Dying. Great slide guitar blues kind of thing going on in this song from the double album Physical Graffiti, of course, 1975. Led Zeppelin, and just great stuff. But this just happens to be a very strange pressing of this. Since it is the vinyl community, I do like to talk about pressings and things sometimes. This is a weird one. This is a Columbia House pressing where side one, record one is from Presswell, and then record two is from is a Columbia Santa Maria pressing, and it also has a UPC code on the back. Which, why would Columbia House need that? Very strange, but it is on Discogs like this, so this isn't some weird mismatched thing. But the crazy thing about this release is there's some things that are weird about it, like songs that. There's a couple of songs on the actual album that kind of go together really quickly. On here, they're separated by like 3 seconds of silence. And the song I'm talking about, the long one, In My Time of Dying, it ends kind of really just kind of nonchalantly with somebody coughing. And then Robert Plant goes, cough. And then, I don't know, some laughter or whatever. That's gone on here. That is not a part of this. That is edited out. It is an edited Led Zeppelin album. It's very strange. And I looked it up. It's on Discogs. It's like this with everybody's. It's rare, so some people want it, but I don't know why anybody would want a messed up. And it sounds awful. This pressing is horrible sounding, terrible. I'm not a big fan of the Columbia House RCA Music Club pressings anyway, but this one is an example of why. It's flat, it's noisy, not good. Stay away from this weird-ass pressing of Physical Graffiti from Led Zeppelin. But back to In My Time of Dying, great 11-minute long blues, like, kind of a prayer, oh, Jesus, that kind of thing. He's got that part in there. But like I said, that slide guitar part in the whole thing just really makes that whole song from Led Zeppelin. Okay, now it's funkadelic. I mean, funk with a driving beat that goes on and on and on from Uncle Jam Wants You, Not Just Knee Deep. This is the song, was it PM Dawn? Me, Myself, and I was the big song that sampled this. But yeah, incredible groove on this, and it keeps up for 15 minutes, but it does not, to me anyway, it does not seem like it. But when you got a groove like that going on, you just keep it going and keep it going and keep it going. And man, what a groove this is. Not just knee deep, she was gonna be deep, she would do the free with me. She turned me on. I got ants in my pants and I want to dance. I mean, I don't know what more to say about it. It's a great groove. It's total funk. It's a hard one, bam on the one. And check it out. Uncle Jam Wants You, Funkadelic. One of the later releases. I definitely prefer their mid stuff. I know that Maggot Brain would be another Funkadelic lengthy tune. That one's only a little over 10 minutes, so that doesn't count. But I like their mid stuff, like their Let's Take It to the Stage, Standing on the Verge of Getting It On kind of era. But this stuff's cool too. It's Funkadelic. You can go wrong with some Funkadelic, but stay away from the one with the dollar bill on it, unless you're a real big fan. Alice's Restaurant, Arlo Guthrie. Come on now. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. This used to get played every Thanksgiving on some classic rock stations. Again, one of those songs that take up an entire... This thing needs some work done to it. Another song that takes up an entire side of an album, and this is what most people know Arlo Guthrie from. Either that or his performance in Woodstock of coming into Los Angeles, bringing in a couple of keys. This has kind of got really... and I'm going to get some hate for this, but this really does have some kind of dated humor in it, and I can see where younger people would listen to this and be like, okay, is this going to end sometime? This is not funny at all. But I think this is kind of more of a cultural kind of relic, in some sorts. A great thing to visit. Like I said, there was a radio station around here that used to play it every Thanksgiving. I think goes on a lot in the U.S. But yeah, a great thing to visit every once in a while, but not drop dead hilarity. Oh my God, you got to hear this. This is the greatest song ever, kind of thing. But it is nice to have it's kind of like an American treasure. Alice's Restaurant. Of course, there is the movie Alice's Restaurant as well, which is very odd, but again, a cultural thing of the time. Of the time. There you go. It's of the time. Orlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant. Oops, I forgot to... Here's Faust. They were supposed to go with the German stuff. They are out here on their own. But yeah, check out Faust. Rare Earth. Man, one of the... they had their own Motown label imprint. That was always very strange. But their version of Get Ready from the Temptations is 21 minutes long. I don't know if it needs to be quite that long, but if they're going to have that kind of, guts to come out with something like that, the gall it takes to take a Temptations 2.5-minute song and stretch it out to 21 minutes and 38 seconds, and still people are into it. But it is a groove. It is, nice to hear their take on the Temptations. You can't. That's why everybody does these Motown covers, is because you can't go wrong. You take that Motown beat, and you've automatically got a hit, pretty much no matter who you are. So get ready, but just set aside some time. Get ready, literally, for 21 minutes of that from Rare Earth. How about Iron Maiden? Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. I don't even think it's on this CD. I just want an excuse to show this. But yeah, that's another kind of song that I don't know if it really needs to be that long. It's kind of the same thing all the way through. I mean, the Number of the Beast has more variety in it, but they wanted to make it 11 minutes long, and they did. This is an Iron Maiden compilation of that little short period when they were out on Columbia. This is called Ed Hunter. It actually has a video game attached to it that you could have played on your CD-ROM. I think you did have to have Windows 3.0 or something, so just so you know. But I don't know. I just brought this because I don't know. Has anybody ever played Ed Hunter, the game, on the Iron Maiden 2? It is rated T for teen, so I just was curious if anybody's ever played that. I never did, I will admit. We are up to another one that's not on this CD because it's a newer one. This is the only newer song. I had to throw like a newer one in there. But with an older artist, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and Nocturama is the album. Came out in 2003. The song is Baby, I'm on Fire. And this thing is like, I think 12 minutes long, and he is on fire. This is, I don't know, somebody's on something. But this guy is revved up on something. I'm sure, maybe it's life. He is revved up on life. Because, Nick Cave, man, is totally clean. But Nick Cave and the Bad he's just... Man, and I'm on fire. Everything is a different verse than him just screaming, "Baby, I'm on fire" at the end, and just all these different. It's similar to the woman in the Brainticket song, but his all are like rhyming things, and it's not just like top of mind stuff, and it's sort of sung. The thing that I recognize, and I looked on the credits, and everything is credited as being written by Nick Cave, but this is totally that I'm on that 500 or 5,000 volts disco song. It's got the same melody, and he's singing "I'm on Fire" the same way. It's just that he adds all these other just great lyrics in there, and you got to check it out just for that. But his intensity all the way through, and it is over 11 minutes, but it's another one of those where you kind of like you just want to see how long this is going to go, and it's just great. So as far as a newer song from an older artist, that's why I included that one. Nick Cave from Nocturama. And Baby, I'm on Fire. That just about does it, except for one more. Donna Summer's Love to Love You, Baby. 16 minutes long. Another one that's on one side of an album, takes up the whole thing. They turned out the lights. They dimmed everything. She's having pretty much an orgasm on record. I think there is a little bit of looping going on here, so maybe there is some cheating. But you got to love some Donna Summer. Love to Love You, Baby. Now, the 3.5-minute version might cut it for some people, but most of us gonna go ahead and need that 16-minute long version of Love to Love You, Baby from Donna Summer. And if you want to get even more explicit, you want to take it to the next level after that, there's always the 16-minute long Love in C minor from, what is it, Shireen or something like that, or Sharon or something called. That one's a little more explicit, actually, than that. And if you want to go all the way, wrapping things up with the Boys Town Gang and Cruising the Streets from, I believe, 1980 or 81. Yeah. Here's a whole long, drawn-out situation involving leather guys. Involving a woman that's wanting to talk to a leather guy to find her friend. Another leather guy comes up. The two guys start making out. This is all, very audible. The woman asks if she can stand there and, pleasure herself while this is going on. The guys are like, sure, here come the police. The police are going to arrest them. They end up having sex with the police. This is all part of this song, by the way. Cruising the streets. When you've loved to love you, baby, and you loved in C minored enough, and you're ready for the next level. This is not for children. This is not for. It says it right there, not for children. And I think that is a great way to wrap things up. Of my favorite favorite long ones video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sure I've forgotten so many great songs that are over 11 minutes long, but I did have my filters. Don't forget, I had the no suites, no two title / title songs, no live versions, only one song per artist, so I did have all that stuff in effect. But if you can think of any of your favorites that I might not have mentioned, please mention those in the comments, because I'm sure there's all kinds that I left out, especially newer stuff that I'm not familiar with. I know the Black Angels have like a really long song called Snake in the Grass, and there's some newer stuff that I've been checking out. But yeah, let me know about some newer stuff that might be really cool, like over 11 minutes, that you just want to maybe it's the same great thing all the way through, can't get enough of it. Maybe it's a bunch of changes, and it's like a journey of a song. Not the band journey, but like you go on a journey through this. Anyway, a trip of a song. But yeah, let me know in the comments, and thanks again for watching. And please consider liking the video if you liked it. And please consider liking the video if you liked it, and consider subscribing so you don't miss any future videos. And yeah, thanks again for watching.